Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 discussion video. So this one's going to be a bit different. I am going to go over with you guys a bunch of different fake summaries that came about during Arc 5's runtime. For some reason, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, especially during like the later half of Arc 5, had so many fake summaries going around. And I mean, some of these were not like, fan-fic summaries. Some of these were actually really believable. I mean, people went through the efforts of creating fake scans with like fake Japanese text about what these episodes were going to be about. And it was pretty incredible. It even fooled, I mean, some of them were more believable than others. There were a few that fooled me during Arc 5's runtime. There were a few that fooled the community. And then there were others that were blatantly not true at all. So we're going to be going over some incredible fake summaries for the Arc 5 anime, and a huge thank you, I know I thank him in almost every other video, to DMC, the guy who does pretty much all of the translations for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. He sent me all of these, almost all of these. There's one that I found from an older video that I did back on Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything when the channel first started about a fake summary, but he was really the reason that I have all of this information, so big thank you to him. And this is also kind of a good, I guess, info video to how to spot fake summary, because we are in the world of, not even trying to get political at all, we are in the world of a lot of fake news. There is a lot of fake and misinformed stuff that's going around, and the best way to combat that, even though with VRAINS we haven't really had any issues with fake summaries and fake leaks or anything like that, the best way to combat it is just wait for DMC to say it's true. He's basically like our Snoops.com, where he confirms whether something is true or not. So anyway, I don't want to hold you here forever. We are going to get into it. A lot of really funny summaries here, and we're going to start with one from episode 88. So this was apparently the source, and all of these are found, by the way, on like the Neo-Arc Cradle forums. This was the source of a new episode 88 summary, and look at the image in the bottom left. That was supposed to be a new monster, and here is DMC's translation of that. So Academia invades in episode 88. That's cute. In episode 88, the title, this is the episode where, by the way, Crow duels Yugioh. So this was, what you're about to read for episode 88 did not actually happen. On that day, the city's light vanishes. Due to Academia's arrival, the tournament was interrupted and the city became a battlefield. During the chaos, Kurosaki and Gungenzaga escaped from the underground, then they ran into Barrett. Barrett also has a new monster called Cyber Werewolf, which I guess was supposed to be the monster here in the bottom left corner. This one actually did fool quite a few people. You can see some comments here about how episode 88 summary and title is different now, and DMC said that it could be just a part of the episode for all we know, but Cyber Werewolf was never a thing that happened. It was never a monster that was summoned, and Barrett, Kurosaki and Gungenzaga at no point ran into Barrett. So this, even though it looks pretty legit from the source, it is a fake leak. But whoever made it, it's a pretty believable leak. And now we're going to get into another scan that looks pretty legit, and this was for episode 90. So this one was not really as believed by other people, but here is supposedly the spoiler for episode 90, that the title is Hell's Emperor. And this user writes, maybe that's Shun versus some important Academia member. And DMC responds, again the translator, that the preview says Kurosaki clashes with an Academia captain that is looking for Yuzu in the underground facility. And DMC did go on to say, potentially fake spoiler, take it with a grain of salt for now. Also, Hell's Emperor can be translated as Hell Kaiser, which might be referencing the Academia captain instead of Shun. So this leak for episode 90, this summary, is basically implying that Hell Kaiser Ryo Marufuji went to Synchro. An Academia captain went to Synchro to try to kidnap Yuzu to bring her to the fusion dimension, and he was going to have a duel with Kurosaki Shun, which obviously absolutely did not happen. So, which is pretty funny there. Next we have, it's just weird how many of these came up in such a small time. We have what is probably my favorite, the supposed scan for 94 and 95, and I cannot tell you how cartoony Sergey looks in this scan. It's the one from the thumbnail, and this is a pretty safe bet that this is fake. It looks like someone, like a 15-year-old drew this, even though it looks I mean, it looks like it could be, no, it can't be legit, but if you did want to believe it, this is what the summary for 94-95 when Sergei duels Jack supposedly says. DMC goes, it says something about Jack driving Sergei into a corner, and then Sergei's birthmark on his arm starts glowing or something. Then it says that Jack loses to Sergei. Yugioh tries to help Jack, but Jack refuses his help, so Yugioh challenges Jack to a duel. So yes, this is basically a bad fan fiction, which is hilarious. Honestly, I guess they're implying that Sergei was going to be a signer or a dark signer. Remember, he used the Earthbound Immortals, I don't think they were exactly Earthbound Immortals, but similar monsters to what the dark signers used. So there were some maybe speculation and rumors that he could have been a dark signer, which didn't really make sense. And I guess this summary, someone jumped on that, created a fake source, created a fake scan, and created a fake summary. So this one was definitely not nearly as believed as the cyber werewolf one, which was believed by a decent amount of people. So then, this one's interesting. For 97, 98, 99, and 100, which, keep in mind, is the end of the... It's crazy to me how many fake summaries in such a short period of time spawned, which, again, was the duel between Jack and Yugioh, and the duel between Roger and Reiji. There were two different batches for 97 to 100 that came out that were actually fake. Two different people, or maybe the same person, made two different fake summaries. So according to these fake summaries, this is what some people believed was going to happen in episode 97. And DMC immediately points out that the 97 preview is a bit too different from the one on the TV Tokyo site. Wonder what's up with that. And so these are the translations for the first batch. Remember, there were two fake batches of episode 97 to 100. Episode 97, the awakened super paladin. Yugioh thanks his pals, the Lancers, for stopping the duel chasers during the duel. Watching Yugioh, Jack is reminded of a certain duelist in his past. I always crack up at that line because clearly whoever wrote this is trying to hint that Jack would be reminded of Yusei, like that Yusei was going to be mentioned or shown in episode 97. As both Yugioh and Jack accepts each other, the duel turns more and more intense. 98, the tyrannical Scarlet Dragon versus the Frontiers of Nirvana, which by the way is an awesome freaking title name. Yugioh and Jack continue to exchange attacks between each other, just back and forth. 99, hope that rests on one card. The duel that would determine the fate of the Synchro Dimension finally ends. After the duel, Jack asks Yugioh why he did not use that single card. Not sure what they were trying to imply by that single card, what that card would have been. On the other hand, Reiji continues his fight against Roger and comes to a conclusion regarding the Synchro Dimension. And then episode 100, when they go to the Synchro Dimension, or Heartland, excuse me. As peace finally returns to the Synchro Dimension, the Lancers made the decision to leave. Yugioh and Co. regret having to part ways with the people they met in the Synchro Dimension. Meanwhile, Crow suddenly had a suggestion for the Lancers. So that was the first of fake scans. Then there were more fake scans that came out a couple days later, and DMC goes, seems a bit too early to have these previews, they could be fake. Also, apparently, both security and Shinji intrude upon the Jack vs. Yugioh duel, so that's a bit unlikely. And a user, Lance99, who, I don't know if that's the same Lance99 on Twitter, I'm assuming it is, he's a nice guy, he was the one who translated these. And 97, true entertaining. Basically, if you want to read these, you can. It's about how Shinji Weber was going to intrude on the Yugioh and Jack duel and try to lead a revolution. But the real main reason that this was immediately noted as fake is because 98 and 99 have the same word. They have revolution. 98's title is The True Limits of Revolution. 99's title is The Revolution's Reversal. I know sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't the most creative show, but there is absolutely no way that they would have the same word in back-to-back episode titles. Episode 100's really interesting. Yugioh and Jack's duel reaches its ends, and in both the commons and the tops are brimming with smiles. Jack acknowledges Yugioh's dueling and resolves to defeat Academia with the Lancers. Jack calls together the Friendship Cup's participants, forming the new Lancers with Akaba. And then Lance goes, do legit previews ever just say Akaba? With the newest elite in the Synchro Dimension taking part, the new Lancers set off to the Xyz Dimension in search of more allies. And so moving on, this is one of the scans when they were in Heartland that came out, and this scan basically says that Fubuki Asuka's brother was going to duel, I believe, Shun Kurosaki. And the reason you can tell this is a fake scan, as DMC notes, is look behind the image. This is clearly an image implanted on a Naruto preview. If you look in the background, you can see very light written text. And again, this is what you have to look for when analyzing potential fake sources and summaries. And you can even see a picture on the right side of the screen that's very faded out. So someone literally just put this over I believe it was a Naruto spoiler, and DMC says it's just a fake preview. Someone photoshopped an old preview of a Naruto episode, basically, and DMC privately wrote to me that this is one where Asuka's brother shows up and pays Edo a visit during the XE's arc. So Asuka's brother Fubuki, as cool as it would have been to see him, obviously never shows up, so that was a fake summary. Another batch, and this is finally the one. I finally found the source of Jean-Michel Raget versus Gong. This came out, and people, were half and half on it, even though most people thought it was fake. I believe it came out on Maxut, or I don't think it was Maxut. It was maybe Pojo. It came out on one of the sites, and it was all in kanji. And so DMC translates, not word for word, but here's the gist of what was going to happen between 109 and 112. Shun got kidnapped by Academia. Remember, 109 was the episode where Shun and Yugioh were dueling Grace and Gloria. So Shun got kidnapped by Academia. Kaito's still angry and is determined to go to Fusion to save Shun. Asuka thinks that Yugo is a spy and challenges him to a duel. Yuya and Gong go to the Fusion base in the XZ's dimension and run into Jean-Michel Raget, who's now working for Edo. Gong versus Raget, which would have been incredible. Edo versus Kaito in the Fusion base. Yeah, sounds kind of fake to me. So the reason you can tell these are fake is because there's so many cool duels happening in a 4-episode span. Asuka versus Yugo, Gangenzaga versus Raget, Edo versus Kaito. Edo versus Kaito would have been insane, and I wish we saw that. We didn't see any legacy characters square off against each other, but DMC immediately said that it sounds fake, and of course, these were fake, but these were summaries that stated Raget was going to duel Gangenzaga. Unfortunately, there was no scan, and that's the reason that these were clearly most likely fake, but it would have been pretty cool to see it go this route. But then again, there would have been a lot happening in a 4-episode span. So, but those were the summaries, the fake source that said Gangenzaga was going to verse Raget and Edo was going to verse Kaito. And finally, there was one that I saw, and I'll never forget this because this one got me really good. It was on Thanksgiving Eve. Or no, it was on the night of Thanksgiving, right, Black Friday, and I was out shopping with my mom, and someone who I trust a lot, and I still trust a lot, sent this to me and said, dude, the summaries got leaked. We were on episode 131 of Arc 5, so I immediately was like, okay, it's weird that we're getting the summaries. This was an old Fan Friday video, a series I used to do, Fan Friday, where I'd go around and look at fan-made stuff. I don't really do it anymore. It's actually now an unlisted video. And this was the only source I could find, so I made it actually clearer in terms of text. I wrote it on a Word document. And it was weird that we got 4 summaries for episodes that were going to be airing months later, and we didn't even get the 134 to 137 summaries. I think we were actually at 133. And obviously what happens here is the end of the Zark duel. But let's read what these fake summaries said, because these summaries got me. I almost made a video on it, and then someone told me they were fake. I think the user who wrote them, after like 12 hours, said, oh yeah, I just made these up, they were fake. But people genuinely did believe this, including myself. And these are 4 that I wish they went this route instead of the Zark vs. Lancers duel. Episode 138, The Angel and the Devil. Seeing Ray's revival, Zark storms into Leo's throne room. I imagine this would be like the Zark we saw in the flashbacks, and confronts Ray. Before either of them can react, Leo challenges Zark to a duel. The Magicians of Space and Time. Leo pulls out all the stops to defeat Zark, even going so far as to use all 3 summoning methods. Zark merely scoffs at him, summoning each of his dragons to fight him, and then a familiar monster appears. And then episode 40, the Akaba siblings. As Leo and Zark's duel intensifies, Ray intends to intervene. However, willing to protect Yuya, Reiji stands in her way. Ray then begins to tell her account of her duel with Zark. That one line, Ray then begins to tell her account of her duel with Zark. I would have bet up to $5,000 that we would get something along those lines. It still is crazy to me that we never got any mini monologue from Ray about that duel or about her relationship with Zark or anything like that. And this is what I had to say about that one specific line when I made this video way back when. Those are fan-made summaries, and I think something similar like that will happen. I think something similar like that will happen. I think something similar like that will happen. Yeah, couldn't be more wrong. Episode 141, the Supreme King versus the Three Kings. With Leo defeated, Zark sets his sights back on Ray. Now knowing the full story, Reiji decides to appeal to the Yugioh that is sleeping within Zark. As Ray watches on, she realizes that Zark is smiling. So, I've said it a lot of times, I would have, and see, these summaries are within the realm of realism. I mean, this definitely could have been something that happened, a route that they went. I said it a lot of times that Zark Duel was not a fan of it all. I liked episode 140 a lot, when Reiji stepped in, when Ray and Rayra ended up getting the win, but I just wish they went a route like this, and then after Reiji fails to defeat Zark, maybe Yugioh is able to fight back, or then maybe Ray takes on Zark, or the Bracelet Girls take on the U-Boy. You know, it would have been great to see that, but I've ranted and talked about the ending enough. Still like Arc 5 as a whole, but seeing summaries like this, it really makes you a little depressed of what could have been. But, yeah, so those are some really interesting fake summaries that happened during Arc 5's runtime. Some more believable than others, some were a lot more fake than others, but it would have been interesting if a few of those actually came true. Maybe more interesting as to what actually happened in the show. But you guys let me know what your favorite fake summaries were, and if there were any other ones that you remember that I missed that were making the rounds and circulating, please let me know down below. And remember, these are a lot different than the Alco Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal with the closed 8 summary, because that was an actual real summary posted on NAS's website. It's just that they went a completely different route. They must have made some last minute changes. These were all fan-made. These were not made by NAS and then changed. These were not scrapped ideas or anything like that. Don't want to give that impression off. But anyway, I've talked long enough, guys. Please let me know all your thoughts down below in the description, or in the comment section, excuse me. Cannot write in the description. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Alexa Baker, Christopher Johannes Bouska, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, D01, and James Rose, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Soledsnak and bouldergeist. Thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for watching at home as well, and thank you for the amazing support. I will talk to you down below, and I hope you have an amazing day.
それぞれの夢を手に入れるために行くぜ最強の未来芽吹き出す